Hi, welcome to the Badass Breastfeeding Podcast. This is Dianne, your lactation consultant, mother of 3. I have Nathan, and he is 25, and Brandon and Jessica, my twins, and they are 23. And I am also a lactation consultant, and I am a maternal child health specialist.
Beautiful. And I'm Abby, the badass breastfeeder. And I have Jack, who's 14, and Exley, who is on his last few weeks of 11, who has signed up to play on a football team.
Woohoo! Exley on the football team.
I had 2 rules in my house: no football and no military. And they love breaking rules, I guess. They're like their mom.
Yeah.
I hope they don't go to the military.
I was just going to say, I hope they don't.
Then we'll just keep that the last rule. And I'm not anti-military or anything. I have like super anxiety about my kids getting hurt and dying. Yeah. So that's just
I was in the military, and I still don't want my kids in the military.
Okay, see that? Okay, there you go.
No, I'm not anti-military. I just would prefer it if they...
Yeah, it's just a scary thing. It's scary.
It is.
Anyway, so that's us, and today's episode is brought to you by Original Sprout. And Original Sprout has another awesome deal this week, and it will be a new deal every single week. And this week's deal is a cradle cap kit.
Ooh.
Which is super awesome. Actually, it's a giveaway. So head to the Badass Breastfeeder, Instagram or Facebook, and just enter the giveaway for the cradle cap kit. And we'll hear more about that later. Today's episode is also brought to you by Nursing Queen, who everybody knows we love. Hopefully you know that by now. And they are the makers of very sneaky nursing clothing. And I say that because when you look at it, it doesn't look like nursing clothing. They've got hidden zippers and hidden flaps, and we will hear more from them as well later. But you can head to badassbreastfeedingpodcast.com and check out our sponsor page. If you ever need anything, see if you can give them your business because they make this podcast possible. While you're there, scroll down and enter your email address, and we'll send episodes straight to your inbox every week. We'll also send you some secret Original Sprout deals that they've got going on. They have some email exclusive deals. And we are on Patreon. And we would love to see you over on Patreon. We have brought back our Revolution Parenting podcast, the podcast that we created a few years ago and then stopped. We created it because we want to bring kinder and more compassionate adults into the world. And we believe this starts at home with how we parent our children. So we talk about child development, discipline, boundaries, attachment parenting, and so much more. And the only place to access this podcast is on our Patreon. So we have 2 tiers, and each tier has multiple benefits, including a goodie bag of Thank You for Nursing in Public cards and podcast stickers sent straight to your house every month. So head to the top link in the show notes under this episode, wherever you're listening from, and pick a tier, and we'll see you there. And we're still hosting our ongoing giveaway for people who leave reviews around the internet, like on iTunes, stars on Spotify, wherever you're listening from. If you can leave a review, we would love that. If you can't, share it on your socials or somehow share it with people. That's just what we're trying to do, is get the word out to more people to listen to the podcast. And take a screenshot of whatever you're doing. Send it to badassbreastfeedingpodcast@gmail.com, and we'll send you a goodie bag as a thank you. And also, if you have photos that you don't mind me sharing on my social media, send that along. We'll also send you a goodie bag for your photo. And usually Dianne has our review of the week, but I do this week because it's on my phone.
Abby's got it.
Let's see. Okay, this came into Instagram, I think, and it comes with a question and an episode idea, and we thought that this would be a fun review to read today because we would like to hear from you all. as an answer to her question. And then we'll do a whole episode on it with input from everybody. So it says, I've loved your podcast for years. I'm exclusively breastfeeding my 8-month-old, my third baby. I have 3 kids under 4 years old. It's wild over here. But I wanted to see if I could suggest a podcast episode topic. It's currently heavy on my mind, but how do you know you're done having kids? Your thoughts on future family planning and knowing if this is the last baby you'll breastfeed. It's an emotional topic that is unique to everyone, but would love your thoughts, opinions, insight. Personally, I think I'm done after 3 kids, but my husband would love one more. Thank you so much. So we want to hear from you. How do you know you're done? How did you come to that?
I have so much to say about this.
I know. That's great. And if, anybody who is, we just want to read your stories and share with each other what everybody kind of went through or is going through as you're making this decision. And, that's it. Send your stories to badassbreastfeedingpodcast@gmail.com and we will gather all of this for the episode. And then we can hear what Dianne has to say as well.
I
do you want to give us a little teaser or not?
I mean, I could tell you what happened to me, but...
Okay. Tell us what happened to you.
You want to hear that story?
Yeah.
Okay. So I had my son, Nathan, and then I wanted to have 2 more kids. I wanted to have 3 total. And my ex-husband said, no, I will have 1 more. And that's it. Ha-ha. And then I had twins, so it was ha-ha on you because
in your face.
I got my way. I got what I wanted.
That is
and
so funny.
They were born via C-section.
Okay.
And my mother said, you should have had them tie your tubes. This is what she said right after. You should have had them tie your tubes while they were in there so you wouldn't have to worry about having any more kids. But I felt like I wasn't sure if I was done. But strangely enough, I felt like I knew I was done having kids with him, but I wasn't sure if I was done having kids. So that's how early in the marriage I knew I was going to be done with this marriage.
Yeah.
It's like right after I had my twins. So I was like, well, I'm not sure. I didn't feel like I was sure.
That is too hard of a decision to make.
It is. While you're pregnant?
Be like, oh, just by the way, I'm done. Go in there and tie my tubes. Like, that's not a good time to make that decision.
No, not at all.
I mean, unless you're like really sure, but like, yeah.
I know. And then when I got with Tom, we did talk about having one, but I was in my late 30s and he was, which wasn't too late, but he was 8 years older than me and his kids were adults at the time.
Yeah.
So
he was like have a newborn again and like, ugh.
Yeah. And we thought about it and we talked about it. And at one point it was like, if it happens, it happens. But then we decided, no, we had 6 between us.
Yeah.
So that was enough. But it is a really hard decision to make.
Yeah.
I would love to hear what other people have to say about it.
I know. And if you're still like, is there differences between you and your partner? Which I never went through that. I'll tell my story on the other episode. Because
I'm working with a family right now who just had a set of twins and it's their 3rd and 4th. And they were only going to have 1 more and ended up being twins. And it's their 3rd. So now they've got 4.
Yeah. You don't always get to choose the numbers. If you've got twins in your family, they might pop up.
Yeah. Or
this is so interesting. Everybody's going to love if you just tell us your story. Just send it along, tell us your story, and we'll read them because I feel like this is one of those topics where everybody's got something to add.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay, so we have another exciting thing going on. Is we are approaching our 500th episode.
Woohoo!
I can't even really wrap my brain around how we've done this almost 500 times.
I know.
That's insane. And so we are going to count down. We thought it would be fun if we just took these last like 10 or so episodes and counted down our top 10 episodes ever. And we know what they are because on Buzzsprout, where our podcast is hosted, it has what episodes have the most downloads. And so we can just look right there and see what the top 10 are. So we're going to count them down for you. And it's very telling. I love how you can just see really a pattern, and we're not going to give away too much, but you can see a pattern. And on our 500th episode, we're just going to like have fun. I have like some emails that I've never read over the years that I was like, this is so special. I want to save it, but I've saved it for years. So
oh my gosh,
I'm just going to like read I have like maybe 3 or something that I'll read. And we'll talk about some of our fun times. If you have anything that you like maybe want to add, that's cool. We're also going to put together a gigantic giveaway, including this toddler carrier that I have. It's like a Leela baby Tokidoki. Tokidoki is a pattern. This was like a big rage like 10 years ago. It's like a very colorful kind of cartoonish pattern by a Japanese artist.
Oh, and I love this.
Yeah, it's a toddler carrier. It was used by me with my kids. And I'm going to add that. And we're going to get I'll get as many sponsors on board as we can. I'm sure Original Sprout would love to add some stuff, and Nursing Queen, and maybe our favorites from over the years.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be really fun. I'm so excited. So do you want to hear cool. what our number 10 coming in at number 10? I feel like David Letterman.
I know. Not everybody gets to do a top 10 countdown.
Not everybody gets to do, yeah. So at number 10, we've got overfeeding.
Oh, yes. The age-old question of, do babies actually overfeed?
Let's see. Where'd it go? Oh, no, it went away. It was like 10,700 something downloads. And so people are apparently concerned about that.
That was a good episode.
That is a good episode. And you know what? It kind of surprises me that that's so popular because there's so many people that think the opposite.
Oh, I know.
They just assume their baby's like starving to death.
Yep.
So overfeeding.
I had a mom that was admitted to overfeeding the other day. She knew it. She was like, I force feed him because I want him to finish the bottle. I was like, don't do that.
Can you stop, please? Oh, my God. Why is she doing that? She just doesn't want to have any. She's like, clear your plate kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay. She's just afraid that he's like, like getting that he should be getting all this milk. And I was like, he's getting too much.
Yeah.
It's too much. And then he's fussy and has reflux.
Well, I wonder if that's part of it, why people are drawn to that, because it's like, wait a minute, you can overfeed? Like I thought you couldn't. Like I thought it was just always never enough.
Yeah, I know. People say that all the time, that they didn't think babies overfed.
Yeah.
It's a real problem.
This is a real problem.
It's a real problem, folks.
All right. So we'll put that link down in the show notes. So if you haven't heard that episode, apparently it's a good one. So check it out. And
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so now we can move on with our episode today about weight loss, which is
we're going to talk about
with an overfed baby, but
no, it is not. It's the opposite. But yes, we're going to talk about weight loss with your babies, not with you, because we're not worried about all of you. You're all fabulous. So we don't need to worry about that. But we do need to worry about the babies. So why we talk about this is because it happens. It happens with every baby, and it's certain times too. So when your baby is first born, for anybody who is pregnant right now, you might not know this, your baby's going to lose weight when they're first born. And that is just normal. Like, that is normal. It's expected. Sometimes I run into families who are like, well, the baby was losing weight, so we had to supplement. And it's like, that's a normal process. Like, we absolutely expect it.
And why is that? Why is that happening? It's not just like magical, like,
no, it's
there's
just
a
like
reason why they're like shedding like fluids from delivery.
Yeah, they're shedding fluids. Like, that's just a very normal process for them. And the more fluid, this is very important, the more fluid you receive during labor, the more fluid they receive, and the more they're going to shed. So that is a really important piece of it, because if you have a baby that loses a little bit more weight than the baby next door, then that could be because you had more fluids. So that is something that people don't really look at when they're looking at weight loss. And there's a lot of research about that. And they really should be, like, hospitals really should be looking at that. They should be looking at weight gain at after the first 24 hours, because usually it's the first 24 hours that a lot of that fluid gets shed. So we only expect them to lose, like, a couple percentage points in the hospital, 5%, 6%, 7%, something like that is pretty normal in the hospital. If you had a C-section, they're probably going to lose a little bit more than that. And one of the reasons being the fluids, and one of the reasons being that they're monitored a little bit closer in the hospital because you're there longer. So they're going to notice more of a weight loss in the hospital because they're in the hospital longer, an extra day or extra 2 days or whatever happens with C-sections now.
And like, I have a question. So you have a newborn, the baby's a day or two old or whatever, and they're losing weight. Like, that is like 100% without a doubt the reason they're losing weight. There's no other hidden meaning behind that initial weight loss.
No.
So like,
no, there's no like, oh my God, there's something wrong with them or anything.
Yeah. Like, I learned, that it's normal for the baby to lose weight like the first day or two. And the doctor going to be like, well, no, that's not what's happening here. There's, they're starving or whatever they like to say. And, if it's that first day or two, like, no, that's not, there's no other reason.
Right. There's no other reason. They just lose weight.
That's what happens after birth. Like, it's going to happen.
Yep. The only time you don't see this happen, and I'm not even going to say don't see this happen, but the only time that somebody tells me, oh my gosh, the baby really didn't lose any weight, is if they're bottle fed. And then
because
you're feeding them more.
It's just replacing
you're replacing that fluid right away.
But they are still losing that fluid. They're just also getting formula, which is heavier.
Absolutely.
So it's like, all right, well, that makes sense. Yeah. Okay.
So when they're losing this weight in the hospital, like, they're being monitored, they're being weighed, they're losing the weight. It's very normal. They expect to see it. They usually cap it off at like 10%. That's where they don't like to see babies go past 10% of their birth weight, losing 10% of their birth weight. That is kind of where they say, okay, we need to start, something needs to happen. They need to supplement or, something, because 10%, they don't like it to go past that. You typically do not see a weight loss of 10% in the hospital. And that is because you're just not there that long. So you might see that when you're discharged from the hospital and you go to your first pediatrician's appointment. If you are a vaginal birth, you're discharged from the hospital after like 24 to 36 hours or something like that, and you go to the pediatrician, your milk isn't even in yet. Because usually you go to the pediatrician like the day after you get discharged from the hospital, within a day or so of being discharged from the hospital. Your milk comes in on like day 3. So your baby is going to continue to lose weight. And this is a normal process, but they're going to continue to lose weight until your milk has come in and your baby has been feeding on your milk for 24 hours. They're going to continue to lose weight until your milk comes in. So when you go to the pediatrician's office on the baby's second day of life, or on their third day of life, and your milk is just starting to come in, they're probably still going to be down in weight. That is normal. You can, if your pediatrician says, oh, they're still down, we have to supplement, like, we got to give them a half a chance here. Like, we didn't even give it a chance to work.
Yeah.
If they're not at 10% weight loss, there's nothing to really be that concerned about. They're fine. What they're worried about is like dehydration and, you know, stuff like that. Jaundice, pooping. If the baby's pooping and peeing, if they're feeding regularly, they're feeding every, 2 to 3 hours, 3 hours being the maximum. Your milk is starting to come in. There's nothing to worry about. Your baby is absolutely going to gain that weight back. And they don't even want the baby. They don't even expect the baby to come back up for like 10 to 12 days. It gives the baby like 2 weeks to come back up to birth weight. So it's not even like, oh my gosh, your baby's down. They need to come back up within, hurry up and get them back up to birth weight. It's not even like that. It's like, okay, yeah, you got 2 weeks to get them back up to birth weight.
And so many people are threatened with that. Like your baby. Remember when Amanda, when she had her baby, my friend who you helped, and the people like her midwives were like, well, your baby needs to be back up to this weight by this time, or we're referring you to like a pediatrician.
Yeah.
I was like,
it's so stressful.
It's so stressful because you can't control it.
It is so stressful. But this is why we say like babies need to eat very frequently. But this is one of the reasons why we do watch the diapers, because that tells us a story. That tells us if your baby is getting what they need. But if you have one of those situations where your baby lost more weight in the beginning than expected, and your pediatrician or they just lost normal weight, but your pediatrician was kind of riding you, that is going to make people be very nervous about weight gain.
Yeah.
Going forward, like forever, because you're just always going to be worried about it. And we don't want you to live like that, because that's really tough. If your baby they're pooping and peeing, we only expect breastfed babies to gain about half an ounce to an ounce a day. That's what expected weight gain is in a breastfed baby. Half an ounce to an ounce a day. So like 5 ounces a week, 5 ounces in a 7-day period. Like that's kind of what we expect to see. If your baby is doing that, that's perfect. It's perfect if that's what they're doing. So you don't need to worry about like, oh my gosh, I need to overfeed them. Like I need to get more milk into them. Like we don't want that to happen. And all babies are different about their weight gain. Some babies will be at that one, at that ounce a day. And some babies will be a little bit lower. That's okay. They're all variable. It's all going to be, it's all going to be different with every baby. But you also have to look at yourself and your partner and DNA and genetics and all of that stuff too, to see like, okay, my baby's a little bit more on the smaller side. They're not going to gain this huge amount of weight. Right. So that also plays a role in it as well. All of that stuff. We should probably take a break.
Okay, we'll be right back after a word from our sponsors, which is actually me.
We do it all here, folks. We do it all.
Yeah, we do. Yes, today's episode is brought to you by Original Sprout. And this week's exciting announcement with Original Sprout is our giveaway that's happening right now. So you're going to go to the Badass Breastfeeder on Instagram or on Facebook, and you're going to enter just by commenting for the Cradle Cap Kit. And this includes a 12-ounce hair and body baby wash, the 1-ounce Miracle Detangler, and a Cradle Cap comb. And so this little combination here is going to soften up that cradle cap, and then you can comb it out. And Original Sprout is one of our absolute favorite sponsors ever, because it's vegan, it's cruelty free, it's sulfate, paraben, phthalate free. It's so easy to just mix and match through the whole family, and adults can use it too. Like this hair and body baby wash, I use that on myself. So like I said, you're going to go to the social media handle, the Badass Breastfeeder, and you're going to enter. And my grandma, when I was a baby, I had cradle cap, which I guess most babies do, but she came over apparently and like just like magically did something to my head and combed it all out, and it was like gone forever. And I was like, well, my mom was just like, okay, that's just what grandma's. My mom never did that, but her mom did. And I think that's just really cute.
It is.
And so today's episode is also you can also go to originalsprout.com. Use code BADASS26 and you will get a discount. 25%, I believe. Mm-hmm. There's all kinds of deals. So
I hope you're taking advantage of it.
Yeah, yes. There is so much going on with Original Sprout, and they're like dropping their prices for badasses, and they're all in with us. So give them some business. Use code BADASS26. And today's episode is also brought to you by Nursing Queen. And Nursing Queen is right now, they're really they have so many of these spring dresses that you need to get. There's this the ruffle midi dress. It has all these really cute colors like lavender and terracotta. I was going to call it peach, but they call it terracotta. That's so fancy. And then this pink, it's a really bright pink and floral patterns. And this is great because it's also, you can wear it when you're pregnant. You can wear it when you're nursing. It's got hidden zippers. You wouldn't even know that it's a nursing dress. And it's all the way to the floor. So you can be like looking as crazy as you want underneath and no one will know. You'll just look gorgeous in your dress. And when you bend over, this is my big thing with dresses. It's like I bend over and then there's my ass. But with the long one, you don't have to worry about that. You could be chasing your toddler on the floor, doing all the things, and you are completely covered. And it has pockets, which is super important. Mm-hmm. And there's all kinds of different styles as well, not just the one that's all the way to the floor. So make sure you're checking those out at nursingqueen.com. And use code BADASS for 10% off of your purchase. There's also this cute little jammy dress thing. Jammy dress. I think they should call it that. A jammy dress.
They should call it that.
There's one that's like blue with like this big thick pink stripe through it. Oh my God, I love that. All right, nursingqueen.com, code BADASS for 10% off. Get on it, badasses. And all of our sponsors and their promo codes from today can be found in the show notes under this episode, wherever you're listening from. You can also find our sponsors at badassbreastfeedingpodcast.com. And you'll also find over there, you'll find all of our nearly 500 episodes. You will find our favorite resources page, which I get emails all the time about people trying to add stuff to it. And I'm like, no, please. This is like our very specifically handpicked favorite resources. And not every topic is covered. And that's just how it is. We don't have a favorite resource if it's not there. We don't have a favorite resource for that topic. But anyway, we do have an episode. I'm sure. Our favorite resource is us in those cases. And you'll find information about scheduling your very own one-on-one online lactation consultation with Dianne. And I just talked for several minutes and I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. We had to do it. So one thing that is not okay when we're talking about weight loss in a baby is if your baby's older and losing weight. That is something that's definitely a red flag. So sometimes, and I get this I get this not all the time, but I get this usually around like that 3-month mark, 4-month mark, because you go that long span without your baby being weighed when you go, because you're you're going a couple months between pediatrician appointments.
Mhm.
So like when you first have your baby, you're at your pediatrician quite a bit. And then you hit the 2-month mark and they're at their pediatrician for the 2-month mark. And then you don't see them again until like 4 months, unless, there's something that you need to see them for. So sometimes people will go into the pediatrician at 3 or 4 months and the baby will have not gained,
Mhm.
or maybe, or if they're down. I rarely see them down, but I have seen them like not gaining or only
Mhm.
gaining like an ounce between like 2 months or something like that. That is like a huge red flag. And we need to find out what's going on. So that is definitely a situation where like you want to see a lactation consultant, because for some reason your baby is not moving that milk. And a lot of people will automatically just automatically think that they're not making enough milk. It could be your baby's not moving that milk for some reason.
I love that. I love, because that's usually the case. Not to say that people don't have low milk supply for a whole host of reasons, because they absolutely do. But usually it's that the baby isn't getting it out.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what was happening with me. Remember my story about Exley when he wasn't gaining? He was younger. He was younger. I mean, I can't even remember at this point like how old he was, but it wasn't 6 months. It was a month or something, and he wasn't gaining. And then we worked on these things like breast compressions and working on his latch, and then he started gaining weight, like a ton.
Yeah.
And it's not that there wasn't any milk in there. It's that he wasn't getting it out. Listen, like, folks, it's not you. It's the baby.
Yeah.
The baby doesn't know what they're doing. And just blame them. You have to you're going to you're just like, okay, my baby needs help. Like, I don't know exactly how to help them. So call a lactation consultant. And again, I'm not saying, because I know people get very upset, no, low milk supply is a real thing. Yes, it is. But that's not usually what's happening. It could be. That's why you need a lactation consultant.
Yeah. It could be because the baby's not moving the milk.
Yes.
And it caused low milk supply.
That
can happen. That's a real thing.
Yeah. And the baby's just not getting it out.
Yeah. If the baby is not moving that milk, the baby's not getting it out. And some babies are really sneaky, where they're just content and they're just flying under the radar. And they're not, because a lot of people say, well, won't the baby tell me won't they wake up? Won't they tell me? Maybe not.
No, my 14-year-old will go all day and not eat. He won't tell me.
It happens.
Oh my God, I don't understand. How do you just how are you not hungry?
Right. Like some babies just are content. And we just take that as they're getting everything they need. And usually that's the case. But some babies do fly a little bit under the radar and we can't tell okay, what's going on? Now, I'm not saying you need to be weighing your baby every 5 minutes, because that's not okay either. We don't want to do that. We don't want to obsess.
Yeah.
What we want to do is we want to watch their diapers and always know. And by the time your baby is, a month, you're changing enough diapers that when your baby is having good wet diapers.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll know, oh, the baby woke up from a nap and was dry. What's going on there? Like that'll clue you in that there's something going on. So when your baby has good wet diapers and when your baby doesn't. When your baby's pooping and when your baby's not. So those are the things that we want you to watch for, because that's going to tell you, your baby is doing what they need to be doing. I have seen so why does this happen? I have seen this happen because of tongue tie situations that go overlooked. I've seen this happen because some babies are very disorganized with their sucking skills and they're just not doing well with it. I've seen this with torticollis situations, and that's where the neck muscles are very, very tight.
Oh, yeah.
And that can get worse over time, and that can cause problems with sucking. I have seen that happen where they're doing fine in the beginning and then the torticollis really is starting to bother them. And that goes unnoticed for several months. So if your baby is not gaining well and they're a little bit older, we're talking 2, 3, 4 months, that is definitely a red flag and something that you want to talk to a lactation consultant about, because they can help you with that. And it's just something probably going on with your baby. It's not necessarily your milk supply. They can cause a low milk supply, though. If they're not feeding well, they can cause your milk supply to dwindle. So it can be a cycle of things that can happen. So we want to make sure that everything is going well. Talk to your lactation consultant if you think anything is going on with baby's weight gain after the first month or two. But in the beginning, that weight loss is very, very normal. When it's not normal is when your baby's a little bit older. And if you have questions, you can always let us know, or experiences, and we'll talk about it. And that's it.
All right. Well, thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.